Oh, Sanman, guys. As it, you always been lied to. Yes. You always been lied to. I was chatting to a very, very good friend of mine yesterday. We got up and we were talking about business and we are talking about success and we are talking about when we're going to drive our Lamborghinis and things like that and hard work. You know, those same chats that Amachida have. And my biggest thing to him was, I'm so scared that the way in which we are moving is incorrect to the right way. Meaning, Wuti, we've been sold the narrative. Wuti, look, if you want to be big and strong, you need to have your vitamins. Meanwhile, the guys who are actually big and strong are injecting steroids type of mindset, you know. So we ended up talking, and I spoke to him about the book of Samuel. Again, guys, I'm not religious, but I want to pick up lessons in biblical scripture. So the book of Samuel, and Malcolm Gladwell in his book Underdogs speaks about it. He speaks of the story of David and Goliath, and the way in which we were told the story of David and Goliath has been so far from the truth. It is scary, and it's the bullshit narrative that we go around teaching the next generation. Would you need to be this little timid little boy taking on this huge ass giant. Therefore, in business, don't be scared to take on these huge multinational corporations as the small spaza shop. So much bullshit, So just bear with me. Let me try and break down David and Goliath the way that I heard Malcolm Gladwell broke it down, and my understanding of the story of David Goliath as I've told many of the boys that have coached rugby and many of the students that I've taught. So now we go back 3,000 years. We're going back down 3,000 years to the whole Bethlehem, Israel type of place, Jerusalem, those type of things. And you have the Israelites having to defend their land against the Philistines. Philistines have this guy called Goliath, this huge giant of a man, 7 foot, and he is so terrifying to the Israelites' armies that no one is willing to fight him. So the reason why he's stepping up, so again, I'm going to try and remember it as best as I can. In the olden days, when there was two armies, to save the armies from more bloodshed, what they do is that they have your best soldier versus their best soldier, one-on-one, whoever fights. Think of the movie Troy, very, very similar, or exactly the same, one versus one. So the Philistines send Goliath, huge mammoth of a man, and everyone in the Israelites' camp is scared. The huge guy, Samsa. That's where we hear the story of David. And David going, and he's the one that goes and fights this Goliath. But no one is telling us who this David is. People are just saying, oh, it's a little child, it's a little child, it's a little child. For fuck's sakes. So if we break it down, David is the youngest of 8 boys. If you grew up with older siblings, if you grew up with boys, you realize what you are made different from other boys who don't have brothers. You're forced to fight for everything. You become more aggressive than the ones that don't. He's a shepherd. He's given lots of responsibility as a young person, where he has to account and he has to look after. All of his brothers are soldiers. Therefore, he has aspirations to also become. Now, as a shepherd in that time, you're looking after your father's sheep against lions, against wolves, against jackals, etc., etc. What are you given? Are you given a sword? Are you given bow and arrow? What are you given to protect against, all these predators? You are given a sling. Not a catty, not that thing that you go and try and hit tins with, a slingshot. Here's the difference between a catty and a slingshot. So, to the trained person, the way in which they shoot a stone at the sling, the stone can move as fast as a speeding bullet. And I say that because this guy is needing this weapon of his to protect against jackals, wolves, lions, whatever the predators may be, So this is a young boy from a young age having to fight jackals, wolves, lions, whatever the predators. Think about that mindset. If I'm not scared of a lion, the fuck is a man? You know, these slingshots, the person shooting it is so accurate. They can shoot a bird out of the sky. They can shoot a running jackal. As the jackal is going for the lamb, they can aim it in such a way that they can hit it dead. We're not told that. It's not highlighted the bravery that this guy has. It's not highlighted the fact that he spent years and years mastering his slingshot to be able to kill predators. We are not told that. We are not told the fearlessness of a boy in that space, and having older siblings, and one of the roles that he has to do, given by his father, is take food to his brothers who are in the army. He's not scared to go take it. He's not being told, oh guys, no one is fighting yet. He just said, here's food, go and give it to your brothers. Where these brothers are fighting, not fighting, that's what you need to do. But again, that narrative is not being told to us. He gets there and then he tells King Saul, who is the king of the Israelites, the first king of Israel, that he will fight Goliath. Little boy having access to the king, and the king saying, okay, little boy, the story is not adding up. 1 and 1 is not equaling 2 here. How is a little boy who's here to drop off food having access to the king of the Israelites? To a point where the king says, okay, it's fine, you go fight him. You go fight him. Come on, guys, does this not sound like Instagrammy? What is it that we are not being told? Yes, we see that you've lost so much weight. You know, you went from being 150 kgs, now you're 80 kgs with a six-pack abs. But there's something that you're not telling us. You can't just be like, Hebex, there's so much that you're not telling us. You know, there's something within the story. There's something that we need to read between the lines. So it's all of that. As you get older, you realize it's okay, no sharp. So this guy who essentially has a Glock gun in his hand is being told to fight Goliath. He ain't scared. He's used to killing lions. And now you give him a gun in the form of a sling to go shoot this guy. Now you look at Goliath. Goliath is described as a monster, 7 foot, whatever. And if you look at any society, especially back then, when you were extremely large or extremely small as compared to the average man, then there was a medical situation around that. It's like that in today's time. So whenever we look at some people who are extremely big versus the norm, we realize there's some sort of benign tumor that is producing too much growth hormone, whatever medical justification may be. They speak about in the scripture how Goliath had people holding his hand as he was moving. You know, they speak of Goliath saying to David, come to me so that I can kill you with my sword and feed you to the swallows. Why must he come to you? Why can't you run to him? Kill him first. There's so many things that leads to the fact that this guy might have just been this huge overgrown ogre with visual impairments, with health impairments, with so many things that we're not told, you know. And it's only once David got closer, realized there's something missing there. With that being said, David then picks up a rock. The geography of the landscape within Jerusalem, Bethlehem area, those rocks are double the density of the rocks that we have outside there. You take this rock, you hit this oak square between the eyes. First shot. See? Hit the rock. Dead. You walk to him, you take his sword, you cut his head clean off, and you grab his head. You lift it up to the Philistines, and then you carry it back to Jerusalem. Little boy carrying a head. Anyway, a couple of pages later, same David guy becomes the third king of Jerusalem, of Israel. There's so many gaps. I've got guys that I know that have no business mind, and these guys are making 5 million rand a year. Not even a year, a month. They're making millions, and I go, I know guys who are making a certain sports team, and you go, I know guys, and whenever you vocalize certain things, we are labeled haters because we're not allowed to question. excuse me, we're not to question, therefore we are haters. No, I'm not hating. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to map out how you got there. And sometimes you telling me that you just chowed Ihebex for the past month doesn't add. If you were saying, look, there was liposuction, there was this, I froze my fat, I did this, then it makes sense, you know. But for you to just go, boom, I lost weight in a month, yes, it's possible, but it doesn't make sense. Hey, I just went from working Willis Puzzle Shop, now I've just bought 10 Ferraris. One and one is not equaling two here. There's so many things that we are lost and we're not told the right things. Therefore, we go 100 k's an hour in the wrong direction. When it comes to marriage, when it comes to work, when it comes to school, when it comes to that, you know, I was saying this to my friend Izolo Karabuti. There was guys that used to go to extra lessons, extra maths lessons when I was in high school, but they used to hide it. They used to pretend like they didn't study like the rest of us. And then they pass and then us fail and we didn't understand and like, hey, no, it's just my luck. And then you realize, shit, that's the social media world we live in, you know, where guys are saying hashtag blessed. Hashtag blessed. Sister, you selling your bum hole for these Gucci bags. Sister, you selling your bum hole for these trips. There's a blesser behind the camera. Hashtag blessed. Well, work hard, you save. Come on. The fuck that is. You know, the fuck that is. Be honest. Be honest. You know, I'm not saying Wuti, we will now clap hands for the sake that you're selling yourself, but what will happen is that the next generation will actually realize how tough certain things are. That if you actually want to do this, I'm walking around, my ankle is bust, my shin is fucked. People are like, oh, I've hurt myself trying to attain a great body. That is part of it, but no one speaks about that. People don't post those things on their social media. People aren't posting the real life challenges. And as a result, you just go around saying, I'll be David against Goliath. I tried to be David. I started a business, I failed so badly. I lost so much money, and I'm still in crazy debt trying to get out of it because, in my mind, I will be David versus Goliath instead of actually understanding all the variables behind it, you know. So, anyway, I'm hoping that one of these good days I'll go around and do public talks, maybe at schools or churches around this topic. So if you know of a place, just please hit me up, send me a DM. I'll gladly come to you if it's within Joburg. I'll come to you, I'll speak to your school, I'll speak at your work, I'll speak at whatever space that may be your church, etc. But let's have this discussion. So read yourself the book of Samuel or Malcolm Gladwell's Underdogs and comment, share, discuss, tell me what you're thinking. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but you know, but anyway, guys, have yourselves a fantastic day. Be David.